Hello everyone and welcome back to Crypto Atlas. We're back in with another episode, and in today's episode we are talking about Bitcoin, Orchid, and XRP. Some really interesting things going on with XRP, especially that I want to highlight, as well as the good news that seems to be going on with Bitcoin. If you guys are new to the channel, it's nice to meet you guys. Hello, you can call me Atlas, and feel free to drop a like, guys. We're trying to get to at least 50 likes on this video. It helps us with the community growth, shows me that you do enjoy the content, and it means a lot to me. And if you guys want to be alerted more in the future, that bell icon, whether you're new or you are old, make sure you guys click that. Otherwise, YouTube's not really going to push the content to you. And of course, feel free to subscribe. So anyways, we're going to talk about the news going on with Bitcoin first. And there's actually some interesting news going on with XRP, and then we'll take a look at the charts here. So starting off, very first thing, Bitcoin price breaks past $18,800 as bears and bulls map out its path. The price of Bitcoin has stabilized above $18,000 and broken out of the critical $18,500 level. And with where we're at currently right now, $18,750. We're less than 1/4 of the way to go to get to 19K. Can we break above that level? It's going to be a key point, and the 18,800 level right around in that point is where we had a previous yearly high. So we're very close to the yearly high on a new daily formation. There are both bearish and bullish scenarios for Bitcoin in the foreseeable future. The bear case around two key data points: rising Bitcoin deposits from whales to exchanges, and Bitcoin's lack of retests of crucial support levels. The bull cases are based on hodler activity, address activity, the market capitalization gap between Bitcoin and gold, and the favorable technical structure of Bitcoin. So in the bear case situation, some good breakdowns here, and I like to give you guys other people's opinions from a variety of resources if I can, as well as including my own. That's why I go over these kinds of articles. So the bear case scenario, Cole Garner, an on-chain analyst, cited CryptoQuant's Bitcoin exchange whale ratio to say, quote, "It's likely there's one more blow-off leg left in the tank." The price of Bitcoin saw a blow-off top on November 18th when it abruptly dropped from $18,476 to $17,214 within 2 hours. Garner emphasized that the Bitcoin exchange whale ratio has a, quote, history of topping here. So that's something to be cautious of. So the support level right now, if it was to drop from what they're identifying because of previous trends and run histories going back in 2017, 2018, is $13,716, considerably lower than where we are currently at the $18,750-ish level. But yeah, so if it was to have a drop, that's a key level of support that says like, hey, if it drops below this, that is quite a substantial drop. 13,716 to be the line in the sand support-wise to maintain structure. Bitcoin's relentless surge higher came to what some may have misconstrued as an abrupt end. However, while the price swing from $18,500 to $17,200 is certainly not for the faint-hearted, similar price swings in dollar terms occurred when Bitcoin was trading at a much lower valuation. In addition to that, the selling pressure was met with similarly aggressive dip buying interest. And what's more is that the aggregate open options interest, OI, is actually higher since the initial dip lower. So the bull case for Bitcoin. Sentiment now is rather bullish in a number of indicators, including social media chatter, trade volumes, and even web pages indexing marketing terms related to Bitcoin are at or near all-time highs themselves. These are clear indicators that the appetite for an extended bull run is here, and the increasing adoption coming from all sides. PayPal and Cash App, Anthony Scaramucci's Skybridge announcing intent to buy Bitcoin, and many legendary investors also jumping in. Before the breakout of Bitcoin above $18,500, a pseudonymous trader known as Benjamin Bluntz said the Bitcoin left a sideways structure that formed in the previous 48 hours. After the breakout, the trader said this rally, quote, should be the one to take us to 20K and back to all-time highs. Very interesting there. And take a look at this Bitcoin and gold volatility chart that they had also posted on this website, which is Cointelegraph. Bitcoin volatility highlighted in the white line. We got gold spot in the yellow, and then Bitcoin as the actual overhead price point movement being dropped off across there too. So very interesting chart. So should Bitcoin surpass $20,000, there is little to suggest that we wouldn't make a run at $25,000 before the year is out, though I would shy away from planting a flag in the ground and making a price prediction per se. The fundamentals behind the number of people who now have access to Bitcoin through apps like PayPal and can purchase it with very little barrier to entry suggests that even if a fraction of those people do so, the price has nowhere to go but up. So very, very good positive news to take into consideration with that. Next up, first mover Bitcoin rich list grows as whales hodl and price retakes $18,000. Bitcoin reached fresh 35-month highs above $18,400 during the European trading hours. The cryptocurrency has failed to keep gains above $18,000 in the previous 2 trading days. So we closed out above 18,000 this last daily candle, which is great. It'll be interesting to see if price establish a foothold above that level on Friday. So we've seen that so far. The rest of the day, technically, unlike the West Coast, is still going on, but on the daily candle, we're good. Bitcoin has climbed for 7 straight weeks, the longest streak since early 2017, when prices began their push toward the all-time high near $20,000 in December of that year. Bitcoin's price is rising because demand for Bitcoin is increasing at a time when there's relatively few Bitcoin available to buy. The firm produced a chart tracking what appears to be investor-held wallets, those whose coins rarely, if ever, move, versus trader-held wallets where sales take place more frequently. The number of Bitcoin in trader-held wallets, or those theoretically more likely to take profits as prices rise, has declined this year. The amount of investor-held Bitcoin, meanwhile, has risen steadily. So as you guys can take a look at this little chart right here. If you want to pause the video, you guys can take a look at that further. The exchange whale ratio calculated by dividing the value of the largest 10 deposits on exchanges by the total amount of deposits is currently below the 90% level, which would signal an extreme likelihood that a big price drop is looming. The gauge currently sits around 85%, where the chance of prices continuing to rise is high, CryptoQuant wrote Thursday in an email. She argued that it's unreasonable to expect a price around $100,000 next year, assuming that it's unreasonable to expect price, assuming 1% to 2% of total U.S. household wealth of $112 trillion gets allocated to Bitcoin. So if 1% to 2% was to move over, okay, it's possible. But, and it's a huge but, okay? That's just referencing the United States. I'm sorry, but the United States is not the only people that buys Bitcoin, okay? And more other countries are becoming more widely adopting of this stuff too. So if even more adoption takes place worldwide, we got to broaden our spectrum that they also have an impact on the value and the price of Bitcoin. If they start buying a lot more, that reduces the supply down even more because demand just went up. Supply and demand, guess what? Price, here we go. Through the roof to the moon, right? Next up, Bitcoin derivatives see record highs. Year-end Bitcoin option shows a 29% chance of the price crossing $20,000. What's funny is this was uploaded 7 hours ago. Can you imagine? It just takes off. I mean, we've had days where things have gone up $1,000. We've seen days where it's gone down $1,000. Can you imagine we hit $20,000 the same day that this person published the article? That would be funny. Don't think it's going to happen tonight, but anything's possible. At the time of publication, the entire cryptocurrency economy is hovering just below the $500 billion mark. All-time high for Bitcoin featured daily volume yesterday, exceeding the previous record by more than 20%. The top 3 Bitcoin future market leaders in late 2020 include exchanges like OKEX, Binance, and Bybit, as the exchange BitMEX trails behind in the 4th position. As far as futures open interest is concerned, OKEX captured $1.1 billion on Wednesday, November 19th. The probability of Bitcoin at 20,000 at year end equals 25% according to the options market skew, also noted on Thursday, as you guys can see based on this chart. And moving on. Next bit of information, where Visa sees crypto going with Bitcoin near all-time high. Absolutely interesting. So a key point right here is that one of the digital accelerants during COVID-19 is cryptocurrency. Bitcoin, the most prominent example, is approaching a record, and Visa sees digital currencies playing a greater role in its business in the years ahead. So they're very positive in that mindset. We operate in 230 countries and territories and want to win as many transactions as we can. So very pro from Visa's perspective. 4 reasons why Bitcoin price is on the verge of a new all-time high. These 4 reasons are seeing reduced selling pressure. You got institutional demand is growing, and a quote, Bitcoin is now an institutional asset, period. The good thing is most institutions aren't in yet. It's why 2021 will be as good or better than 2020. The market is spot driven amidst a sell-side crisis. Bitcoin has experienced the beginnings of a sell-side liquidity crisis. It has always been like oil on crack. Production is entirely inelastic. Demand, meanwhile, is reflexive. Maintaining $18,000 as support is critical, which is what we're seeing. And right now, as I am recording this video, we are nearing $18,800. Absolutely awesome. Bitcoin soars again after BlackRock says it could replace gold. Oh, wait, what? What is going on here? I had a video talking about the gold and relationship. I'm sorry, Peter Schiff, but it's looking worse and worse for you, man. You're sitting in your little bubble and everyone else around you is saying Bitcoin is better than gold. And here's the reasons why. And you're just like, I'm just going to hold on to this dying asset. All right? I mean, some people are going to buy gold from you, my dude. But you're trying to make more profit, or you're just trying to be... I don't even know what he's trying to be right now. Bitcoin is often referred to as digital gold, and now a top strategist at the world's largest asset management firm says the cryptocurrency could one day replace the yellow metal as a go-to safe haven investment. Quote, do I think it's a durable mechanism that could take the place of gold to a large extent? Yeah, I do, because it's so much more functional than passing a bar of gold around, writer said. The endorsement from BlackRock, which manages nearly $8 trillion in assets, is the largest sign of validation of Bitcoin from the mainstream financial world. $8 trillion in assets, okay? Can you imagine if BlackRock starts stepping up their game like how Grayscale's been doing, or some of these other leading proponents, and they decide that, like, we're gonna really put our foot into this game with Bitcoin. I mean, obviously, they like it. What are the odds that they're gonna be buying a whole bunch of this? I think it's pretty high that BlackRock is going to be stepping up. I'm not guaranteeing it, but like those, the biggest firm, right? Really, really, really good news. I mean, that is like when people heard Paul Tudor Jones saying like, hey, yeah, you know, bet on the fastest horse. Very credible, very, I mean, there's so many big players that are showing their support for this now, which is absolutely amazing. Now we're going to talk about XRP. Some very interesting, very positive news for XRP. Ripple smart contract feature hooks live on XRP Ledger. The new smart contract feature hooks is live for all developers and XRP node operators since a few hours. By using hooks, basic smart contract functionalities can be performed and tested on the XRP Ledger. Ripple has been working for a long time to find more applications for XRP. As Crypto Newsflash already reported, Ripple cooperated with Flare Networks to execute Ethereum smart contracts on the XRP ledger. This interface opens up a wide range of possibilities to develop new use cases for XRP and connected components of the ledger. Wind has now introduced a new function developed by his own company for smart contracts with hooks. So Flare Finance's DeFi protocol based on Flare Network will bring a total of 6 different DeFi products to the market, all based on XRP as bridge currency. This is intended to create a multi-token ecosystem where users can use XRP and other assets in a variety of ways. It is interesting to note that Flare Finance will also offer a DeFi protocol that will enable yield farming. So very good, positive news. More use cases. That means that people that are having XRP can now do more things with it. And it also means that the value should be expected to go up for the current XRP holders as demand will also increase. So we're going to look at what's going on with the XRP chart first. Let's go ahead and start with that. And then we'll go into Bitcoin and finish up with Orchid like we normally tend to do. Okay, so for all you guys that are watching and curious about what's going on with XRP, first off, let me know. Tell me in the comments down below, especially if anybody is new. If anybody's watching this video and you're brand new to the channel, let me know down below. Say hi. Be like, hey, I'm brand new to your channel. I found you blah, blah, blah way, or my friend referred me, whatever. I love to build a community, strong, beautiful community, and I thank all of you guys for being here. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't yet, and if you guys can, don't forget to hit like and the bell notification. But looking at XRP right now, it is having good movement up. In fact, it's reached a new high in comparison all the way back through August. So we're above those levels. Now we're testing a key level of resistance, which is going to be at approximately 0.3478, which took place back on February 15th of this year. If it can manage to break above that level, then the next highest point that we would try and go above is going to most dominantly be at approximately 52 cents. Now, there's been some crazy wide speculation I've read online, people saying like, oh, XRP, one day it's going to go to $1,000. More power to you guys. I own some XRP myself. So I don't know if I would hold on to my XRP all the way to the point where all of a sudden it's $1,000. If that was to somehow happen, that'd be insane. It would be absolutely insane. But I do see more adoption in this, and I see more potential use cases. And so I am very bullish in that regard with the news and with Bitcoin's move up. If it is going to pass above $19,000, Ethereum, we just saw, had also broken into the $500 range. We'll go ahead and take a look at that here in a second. But right now, that's the big level of resistance that we're going to have to keep an eye on with XRP is above that level. Could have a retracement back down. The 21 EMA is honestly a really good baseline level of support that we should be keeping an eye on really any cryptocurrency during this major bull run, as a potential huge drop-off point that could actually bounce off of before it figures out what it's going to do next. So we are having a bit of a broadening wedge that's taking place up here, and ascending broadening wedge taking place in this respect. And by doing so with this, it's more suggestive of a reversal pattern. We could see it actually have a pullback back down. But when you have like a strong bull market, some of the fundamentals start to fall on the wayside because there's just too much movement going in place. And so things like the RSI, for example, the RSI on this shows that it's being overbought. Well, that's part of what a bull run is. And so the RSI will actually begin to adjust itself as the bull run has a further continuation on. So I wouldn't worry too much about the RSI on this element. Very good news for XRP. And also you can see Bitcoin is having a good push itself as well. Ethereum's having a good push as well. The whole industry space, very positive mindset. You can only go up for so long until you have a retracement back. So right now, that's a big key level. Next key level, honestly, is going to be on this level of support that seems to be formed on this ascending broadening wedge, which would be ideally around 2827, 0.2827, right? So if it hits that level, we might see a bounce off and a further correction back into the zone. And so that's what's going on the daily. Just looking at it on the 4-hourly chart, you can see we've got 5 consecutive green candles taking place, which isn't too unheard of. You can see previously back here 4 green candles. Here's 5 green candles. Here's a lot more green candles than 4. And again, 5 green candles. So it's not to say that like it's got too many 4-hourlies that are doing on the positive. There's a lot of good movement that's taking place with this, and further continuation up. You can also see the level of volume on the 4-hourly is also starting to pick up quite considerably. So the fact that we're already halfway to these other points, it's just showing more and more bullish movement. There's more and more of that bull run that's starting to take place. And even now as I'm talking, it's still having a further position move up. Testing right at the top point, pullbacks just a little bit, trying to contest against that high level that was established just a little bit ago. So very interesting. And now we go take a look over what's going on with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is above $18,800, less than $200 to go to get to that next big key level, the $19,000 range. And if you look back here historically, I mean, we go up to the 20K range, and guys, that's basically it. That's basically all she wrote, right? We're looking right now at a moment in history if it can pass above this level. There might be some sell-off, which we are starting to see a little bit as of while I'm talking about this video. And you can see right here this green line, and we are above the only other points that we see that's been above where we're currently at was very briefly on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. Think about that. In the entire time Bitcoin has ever existed at the current price that we are at right now, there's only been ever 5 days in its history where there was a point in time of that day that Bitcoin was at a higher price than where it is right now. We're getting very close to that major critical level of what is going to happen of hitting its all-time high, right? Is it going to be able to pull off hitting it? That's a big question on everybody's mind. And so we are running at the point where we don't have a lot to really work off of with historical charts. We got some great good news that's going on. We looked at the positive and the negative side, but realistically, this is going to kind of come down to if the general public is going to keep talking about this in the media and the news. That's going to feed in more to the FOMO aspect. So the average person is going to be wanting to get in on that. And if we see a continue upsurge, then a lot of the other bigger financial institutions that maybe have been waiting on this, they're going to want to capitalize on that opportunity before it hits the 20K mark. Even right here, right? If you got in here and it got in towards 20K and had a retracement back and they started seeing it selling off quickly, they could bounce out themselves and still make a good profit. So the big whales, there's still enough room. We're talking $1,250-ish, right? You're going to see some high volatility with this stuff, guys. A pullback could take place on the daily. We could have it retrace back down to $16,717 off of this high key level of resistance that's being formed. Past that would then be the 21 EMA, which is continuing to climb up at $16,203 respectively. So those are some key points. We also have a series of green candles. You might be expecting to have a bit of a red retracement, as this is a little bit unusual to see so many consecutive days. But again, we are also on a bull run. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days all closed in the positive. 2 of those days did have a lot of back and forth that took place, and they just barely closed in the green. So although you could debate and say that was those the actual red day corrections and there was just enough time for the daily that they pulled back, you could argue that for sure. But right now, we really got to keep an eye on what's going to happen next. So the people that got the big money, man, if they're going to make moves, we're right in that kind of time frame where if they're going to do something big, a lot of people could react on that like this, and they might already be getting themselves prepared. If they're smart, they're preparing for whatever move that they're going to be doing. If anybody is shorting right now with us being this close, either they know something that is like insider and none of us else know, or they're just crazy gamblers. Because my God, I avoid shorting, period. And yeah, you can make money with it, but I just go traditional, guys. I just go traditional with this. Looking over at Orchid, what's going on with you, Orchid? And what do we got with these pop-ups? Oh, geez, the pop-ups. Not the pop-ups. Right now, we are above the 21 EMA. Woo-woo! Just barely. Look at that tiny little volume. It is a new daily. But it is green, technically. You see we had some push up and pull back right now. And looking at it on the 4 hourly, you can see that the previous position, well, on the new candle, technically, we had a rally up and then a further pull back down. It has hit a bottom and come back up just slightly, but it's barely above that 21 EMA on the 4 hour, which I'm not really worried about. But looking at it on the daily, okay, now it's in red. See, this is a concern that I have. So I am subtly bullish, all right? I love this project and I want it to do really well, guys. We have 3 days, finally, 3 days that have closed above the 21 EMA. What I am not happy about is that these 2 candles that closed are in the red, and that also the one candle that pushed us above the 21 EMA to begin with was a massive candle, which is strongly suggesting a potential pump and dump situation. So I am slightly on the bullish side now. I'm a little bit hesitant. I'm keeping an eye on and concern on having a potential bullback, but it is looking good, finally, which we haven't been seeing this since this entire drop, right? So just the fact that it's above the 21 EMA is a good sign. The fact that we haven't had an immediate drop off right afterwards. We did have quite a substantial red drop off for that daily, but then there's a little bit more of a correction the next day, and we have some potential movement that's going to be taking place right here and seeing where that goes to next. So for the level of support, if it drops down, we could see it taking place down to 0.2339 at that 21 EMA. And then you also have another key level that's going to be at the Fibonacci retracement at 0.2632. If it could break above into that region zone, then we have this consolidated space, which has shown a lot of previous history and track record that it might bounce between. So ideally, that range is actually like around 26 cents to approximately 32 cents. And if it goes even further beyond that, we might be able to start pushing back towards those previous levels, that $1 range. No major news that I can find in regards to Orchid as of the time of this video. However, there is that forecast of the partnership going on with Windows. So that's going to be some very good news. I'm still concerned about the massive dump of tokens that are going to be taking place in December and what that could mean for the market. But a lot of these people are getting in on Orchid around like the 45-cent range. So if people are going to be looking to take profits, 45 cents I think is going to be a really key level to kind of keep an eye on if we could break above that. How much above that, I don't know, but it's probably going to form a stronger level of support than a level of resistance. Once this candle gets lit, I would expect this to do very well, and I especially cannot wait for those nano payments. So once again, guys, that's going to go ahead and do it for this episode. But if you are new to the channel, please don't forget to hit subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the bell notification. Otherwise, YouTube won't tell you what's going on with this stuff. And if you can, hit that like button. At least 50 likes. We are trying to get every single video. Heck, if you're bored, okay? I'm telling you, if you're bored and you're new, feel free to check out my old videos. You're like, you know what? I don't care. Fine, I'll just do it for fun. I've never said this before, by the way, and I'm joking around kind of, but obviously I'm trying to grow my channel. You're bored? You want to go to my old videos and hit the like on those too? Maybe help them get more discoverability? We talk about a lot of different crypto stuff on this channel. Feel free. Anyways, I love you guys. Thank you so much. Let us know all of your thoughts and opinions on anything that was said here in the comments down below. You don't have to agree with me on this stuff if you don't want to. If you got a different opinion on it, that's fine. You're welcome to voice your opinion down there. Just don't be nasty with any of these comments, guys, especially to each other. And again, thank you so much for being a part of this community, and I will see you guys in the next episode.